Hello everyone, this is Diane. I'm going to just be doing some stamping and cutting out for just a few minutes while I chat with you, and then I'll show you what these little things are going to be used for. You may have noticed that I haven't been posting creative videos for a little while. I mean, I finished the patriotic journals and I haven't done anything on video creatively since then. But I have been busy organizing and really concentrating on the destashing more deeply. And I have put some things in the shop. There are still some things there, but things have been selling pretty well, which I thank you for from the bottom of my heart. And I should be working on the ice cream journals, but I wanted to really focus on destashing, like I said. So I'm doing that for the most part, and I am spending 1 hour a day, but not every day. Just when I have a good day to, have a little extra time, I spend an hour a day working on a kind of an impromptu project. Because while I was destashing and I pulled out my journal kits that I put together myself, my little collections of things that I collect for different themes. I pulled out some of them so I could see which ones I could bear to get rid of. And it was really, really, really hard, but I got rid of the fairies and the chocolate journal supplies, and you guys picked them right up, and I thank you for that. I had to list them immediately that very day so I wouldn't change my mind, because that's happened before. But anyway, I also pulled out the supply kit that I'm actually working on right now, but because of the journal covers, the book covers that I had, I thought I would really like to make these. They don't have to be elaborate, and I can just, kind of make them slowly while I'm destashing. Spend an hour a day. I set my timer and I work for an hour, and when the timer goes off, I'll usually finish what I'm doing right at that moment, and then I leave the room and do other things. So that's what I've been doing, and I will show you what the journal book covers are. I had 2 little golden books with different Alice in Wonderland stories. This is the story of the Tea Party, and this is the story of Alice in the Garden of Live Flowers. And I thought, I love to do the golden books, and I have some Alice supplies. I didn't have a ton of Alice supplies, but I have so many other things that would work with it, which I'll show you. So one day I made the covers. Let's just make the covers, and then I'll be committed. So I love this fabric with the colors of this. And I had a digital kit for Alice that I had purchased a while ago. It doesn't belong there. And I wanted to use that. Now, the digital kit, I'll show you in a minute, it doesn't really, the colors don't go with the colors on the cover. So they're kind of eclectic. The journals are going to be more eclectic and random, but I'm finding, I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to make it work. So the fabrics that I use on the spine go with the covers, and the pages, some of them can go with the covers more, but mainly I'm choosing them to go with these pages. These pages are from Digital Fit, and I love them. Let me find a better one, because this one, I made them 8.5 by 11, No, 8 by 10. I printed them 8 by 10, but the first set that I printed, I didn't do that, and I had to cut off some of the top and the bottom. So that's what that one is. But then I printed the others. I printed these again. I think there were 4 pages in each, on each JPEG, or is that JPEG? PDF. Where's the next one? So then I printed those again, and then I did the next set, 8 by 10. So that's the real, this is the whole thing. And I just love the elaborate looking frame. But it's a deep red, and the covers, well, there's a hot pink here, kind of a fuchsia color, and then pink and blue. But I think they're going to be okay. We're going to make it work. So one day I spent an hour making the covers. The next day I spent an hour choosing papers and cutting them. And then the next day, it actually took 2 days for me to prep the book pages. These are the Golded books. These are old. So they're the ones that have an extra page in each signature, not an extra folio, just one single page. And in one of the signatures, the page was in the center of the signature, and in the other signature, it was at the back of the signature. So I had to, it took me a long time to figure out, to make sure I was putting them in the proper order. And I don't always use all of the pages in a Golden book when I make them, but I wanted to for these. This one goes here. So that took me a day, 1 hour, a little over an hour to do the first signature, and then another hour for the next signature the next day. So that's as far as I've gotten, except I've been pulling supplies, and I've been fussy cutting things out of books that I can use, not Alice books. So what I want to do, let's do something with this, with these things I'm cutting out. I sewed this piece of fabric in a pleated, it's pleated and starched, I think, organza, and this was something I picked up at Pat Evans' sale, the lady that has the property that she opens up sometimes, and she's going to be opening it up on the 4th of July. That's Thursday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, she's going to have it open. So I'll go back up and see what else she has, but that's what this is. I washed it and ironed it, and I sewed it on here as a pocket. It's a loose pocket, so I'm hoping I can find something that will fit in there and not fall out. So I wanted to stamp on this side of the page, and I decided I would have these little girl stamps from Elizabeth Craft Designs. Thought they'd be perfect. And I needed to have her sitting on something, so I just took this. It's part of a mixed media type of stamp set that I got from Amazon, one of the no brand ones. And so I stamped it on like a cream colored paper, and I'll have her sit there. And then I stamped story, a fictitious narrative, pretty tale, short romance, history. And then I just stamped a border over here, and I'll put her here, and probably put another word or a label or something up there. So I wanted to just keep these rather simple. So this stamping that I'm doing is a little more than I intended, but I'm not going to be making, you know, fancy tags and stuff. I'll make simple ones. And once I get these little things glued on, I'll show you some of the supplies I have gathered. I know my voice is rough, and I'm sorry for that. There she looks cute reading her book. So I was thinking of, as I organize and label, I'm actually labeling as I go. Before, I haven't been for many of the things that I organize, because I want to finish and make sure that everything is where I want it, because I might change my mind and move something. But this week I've been labeling as I go, or last week. Today's Tuesday of a new week and I'm still at it. So I was thinking of, I like this pretty label right here, of doing a video when I'm done with one section of the room. Because I know you guys have been waiting for a long time. Since I rearranged things and, you know, I've been organizing and stuff for a long time. And then I stopped doing it for a while because I'm busy making journals. So anyway, I thought maybe you would enjoy seeing one section at a time, and then when I am done, I can just give you a full tour. What do you think? Should I do that? That label is so pretty. That came with this set from Amazon. You know, when you're shopping for a brand of stamp or a type of stamp, they'll suggest these cheaper ones, but this is a good quality one. It works great, and I don't mind paying the cheaper price. So the pages that I'm using are scrapbook paper, the book pages, of course, coloring book pages with flowers, scrapbook paper some more, this digital, some dyed paper, I think this is supposed to go here, stationery piece. And then there's an extra flap on the golden book pages because I fold over this edge so that it fits in the book, and then I add something to that folded over piece, makes a flap. Sometimes I add a pocket to the flap, sometimes I don't, sometimes it's not this big, sometimes it's just a little flap. So that's the paper that I've added. I have this image of a lovely young lady from a beauty book from the 1930s or 40s. And she looks just like Alice with the blue dress and white collar and the blue bow in her hair. So I put her on blue cardstock. I'm going to sew around it, and then that will be a pocket on one of these front pages. And in my destashing, I'm really thoroughly going through stuff, so I find things that I could use. I'm using these paper dolls. I'm going to tuck the paper dolls in a pocket or something. So I already had this set all cut out. So she's a double-sided paper doll. She has her outfit on. Anyway, I'm not going to fuss with it right now. So she's got some double-sided clothes that you put over her. Now this paper doll, they must not have come from the same book. I don't know. Oh yeah, there's more pieces in there. I think this one has more pieces. So I started cutting her out last night. Don't know where the doll is. She's probably in the other room where I have my pile of stuff to cut out. So each one will get a paper doll tucked into one of the pockets. And I have a 1960s Jackson & Perkins flower, seed, and plant catalog. And that's perfect. So I have the pansies because they feature in that garden that Alice goes to, and forget-me-nots, or Johnny jump-ups, and an iris. She's a very haughty flower in the movie, in the book. And the white roses, of course, because the cards are painting the roses red, because they planted white instead of red. So I have white ones and red ones. And I just picked out little images as I was going through my book pages to organize and destash some book pages. I like the bowl of red roses here. A little girl raking up leaves, and there's a cat up there, and Alice has a cat named Dinah. Some more flowers. These are from a gardening book. That's from the Jackson & Perkins catalog. Here's an image of a girl with some pigs, and in the story, one of the stories, there are two of them, Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass. And in one of those stories, the Duchess's baby turns into a pig. Humpty Dumpty, I believe he's in the Through the Looking Glass. And white roses, and just some little girls that, I mean, she has a blue dress and a white collar, but, and the blonde hair. So I thought, you know, maybe. I just have these in case I need them. And this, here's the other paper doll. Got more roses from the Jackson & Perkins book. This is a illustration from a children's book of a little girl in her pretty clothes surrounded by adults that are fawning over her. Thought that could be Alice. And then this is from a really old newspaper or magazine. This little paper doll girl. And I'm not going to try to cut her out to be a paper doll because she's very fragile. She's already torn right here. But I will attach her to a card and use her in a pocket. I already cut off of that one. And then I have these pages from Maurice Sendak book of a little girl and a rabbit. And I picked out this one to use. It made me think of when the rabbit sent Alice to his house to look for his, whatever it was she was looking for, his gloves or something. And then she ate something that was in her pocket, you know, from what the caterpillar, or from what she found on the table, you know, the drink me and the eat me things. So she tried one of those, must be the eat me, and she grew too big and her arms and legs were sticking out of the house. And anyway, that's what it made me think of. And any of these I could just use, trim them down a little bit and make a large journal card. That was my idea. There they are having a picnic. So Maurice Sendak is the illustrator and probably the author, I don't know. And this was the size of the page. It was a paperback book, and it had the text on one side and the picture on the other, so it's perfect. Thought they'd be good. And I didn't cut this one out because I didn't know if I would need it. This is, I think, the back cover. And then I found a few of these pages with the teacups. So I don't have teacup things. I don't drink tea, so I don't have any stamps or anything. I'm not that interested in collecting tea-themed items for my journals, but I can use that in the book that's about the tea party, because I have a lot of flowers. I'll use the flowers in both books, even though one is about a tea party and one is about the flower garden. And I'll just try to quickly go through these things without great detail. I have some stamps from my mother's stamp collection. I'll definitely use those. I pulled out these envelopes that I had just recently gotten in a set of stationery. They look like parchment, and they have these flowers on the flap. And then just some other colored envelopes that I had. I found 2 greeting cards that I thought I might be able to include, one for each journal. I I have some Disney postcards. I had gotten a box of postcards from Amazon, and I, of course, put the Alice ones in my Alice stuff. And these are concept art, so this is not what the movie ended up looking like. So they're fun. And oh, I have some real vintage postcards from Disney World. And this one is dated 1978. So each journal can have a postcard. And then from that journal kit, I have some tags that I can use. These are just blank cards I can decorate. Here is from a My Book House book or Childcraft or something, but it is one of the stories in Alice, one of the Alice books. And I just pulled out some vintage ephemera, just random vintage ephemera to tuck in. I had gotten this at a little store in Owego, New York, that is just a small place, and she sells a lot of paper ephemera. And she had this. It was $9, and I bought it because there's a lot in here. But they are slotted, so you can build a house of cards with it, like in the story. But of course, I'm just going to use them in the journals. And I went through my photographs and destashed some, and they sold really fast. But I found some that I could use in these journals. There's a mama and her little girl. It looks like it's at I thought that was an easel, but it might be the back of a chair. Another little girl. And I thought this could be the hole where that Alice went through to get to Wonderland. And then when she grew up, she revisited that place, and she's standing right there in the crotch of the tree. There's a little girl with ringlets. It's a bed of pansies. Maybe they talk. There's a curly-headed child, boy or girl, I don't know, playing a bugle on a tricycle. That's so cute. Oh, it's a girl. It's a boy, Wendell. Cora and Ben's son. And mom and dad and a little girl. So I thought some of those could be cute. I did also have some other digitals that I bought, and I don't know the names of the shops right now. But this was a set of, I think, 4 pages of quotes. And they're already cut out. Some of them I don't recognize as Alice quotes, so I don't know if other quotes are in there, or if, I don't know every word that's in the book. I've read them several times, but it doesn't mean I know them all. Some of them I definitely recognize. And then there were these copies of game cards. It's Cheshire Cat up there. All right, and what else do I have in here? So I have these 3 pieces, and I may have gotten them in a Happy Mail, because I don't remember them at all, but it looks like someone glued them to white cardstock and cut them out. So thank you for doing that, for cutting them out. I love them, but there's only one set, and I am doing 2 journals, so I don't know how I'm going to divide them up. And I have some cards. It's from a trivia game, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and some movie poster cards, and then these 2 playing cards. I think these came from a Happy Mail also, because they're the only 2 I have. And I have my Tim Holtz black and white ephemera pieces. So there's roses in that I could use, and pocket watch and a teacup, and a bottle, maybe the Drink Me bottle. And I have these little pieces that I thought I might use for the book plates. And these coasters I thought would be fun. I have some other book plate possibilities here. And then just some random cards. He could be the Mock Turtle. It's from Old Maid. game. And then these just for fun, maybe. Oh, that goes in my ice cream stuff. Here's some little gift tags with a little kitten and some butterflies or flutterbys. And this was a locket. I did this years ago when I made my own Alice in Wonderland journal before I started selling on Etsy. I cut her out of a out of a paperback book of Alice and glued her in the locket and then put glossy accents on it. And this might go on the front cover of this book, I'm not sure. And that's what I have. So it's quite a bit to work with. I also remembered just yesterday that I have a Stamperia set of paper, Alice in Wonderland paper. And I got it out and I looked at it. I thought, I've already got all my pages and everything is collated. And I'm planning on selling my extra, whatever is extra, if there is any, from my Alice in Wonderland journals. So I'll just sell that Stamperia. So you can look forward to that. I'll have extra Alice cards, at least. These. I don't know if I'll sell all of them. But anyway, so now I've done a lot of talking. And I'm going to get to work. So I'm going to pick out things for the front cover, the front pocket of each signature. And I probably won't glue them down because I want to stamp and possibly sew something to the edge. So this sticks off the edge, so that is the lace hanging off the edge, but it also forms a pocket. So she might go here. And like I said, I have to sew around it. So I'll paper clip it there. And this one is the Flower Garden book. I think some pansies would look pretty on this green. I'm going to glue this to vellum and then make it a pocket. And I organized my papers last night and today. Where I keep all of my different types of papers that aren't scrapbook papers. I'll be right back because I know right where the vellum is. I have this pale purple. Doesn't really look purple on the green. I think it's this one, isn't it? Yep. And I have a green. This pile is vellum and glassine. Maybe. this pocket is cut up pieces. Ooh, how about that? It's a shimmery green. Oh, it's too short. That was a Stampin' Up! Vellum, but I have a full piece of it. I like that. I'll tell you, I love having my stuff organized. And I had emptied some of the wooden drawers that are out in the alcove, I call it. It's a little nook between my craft room and office. So months ago, I had emptied some of the wooden drawers in the unit that I keep there, not knowing what I was going to do with the empty space, but I had destashed enough and reorganized things, so I emptied that. And yesterday, I filled it up, but I think it's a much better use of that space. And I had also emptied some drawers in here, in some of my, my plastic drawer units that I have in here. I want to see if this could cut a wavy cut without cutting off the flowers. I can see where it would cut right there. I think if I put it there, perfect. All right, that's a lot of jabbering I'm doing. This is a blank check. I'm just going to tuck it in here. And one of the tags. And one of the cards. See, there's Alice when she was big in the rabbit's house. There's Bill the lizard. He got sent down the chimney to try to chase the monster out, and she booted him up the chimney. And I just thought it was hysterical that in the movie, I think it's in the cartoon, the Disney cartoon, they see him go, and they go, "There goes Bill." And Alice says, "Poor Bill." I don't know why, it just cracked me up. Maybe because my husband's name was Bill. Poor Bill. Oh, I already stuffed that pocket. So we have the pocket for this journal. What pockets will we put on this one? I'll use the teapot paper in here somewhere, but I think that will not be on the front pocket. I'll put the lace on the front of this one like the other one. It's a very heavy piece of cardstock. I think it must be Stampin' Up. But it has that nice crimson color like the digital paper has. Oops. So in not using the Stamperia paper, I used to call that Stamperia, but then I saw a video with someone from that company. It's Italian, and they pronounced it Stamperia. And I think that Rachel from Roxy Creations, who is married to an Italian and lives in Italy, she calls it Stamperia. So I started calling it Stamperia, but I still hear everybody saying Stamperia, so I don't know. I call it both. Anyway, I think not using that paper is allowing me to use more things that aren't specifically Alice, but lend themselves well, like, you know, my flower catalog and Humpty Dumpty and the Tim Holtz black and white ephemera. I think it'll be fun to make an Alice-like journal. All right, so I think because she is so wide, the paper doll paper is so wide, this will be a top pocket. So I'll leave the top open. Now for this one, let me see, I have the lace or fabric and that. Oh, pocket like that. Something similar to that. Let's put a flower on there. I like this swirly thing, so maybe I'll make this one a corner tuck spot like this, upper tuck spot. I think that looks pretty. So I'll use a clear vellum. I think this is actually a very pale pink. Now before I glued this down, I stamped on this side because sometimes having something on this side, on one side, interferes with the stamping. I'm gonna put some glue up here because I'm afraid it's too flappy and things would fall out. So I just put glue down this edge right there. So there's a start. We have a little stamping done and front pockets, front signature pockets figured out. Not completed, but figured out. I think that's my favorite one. But I like this one too. Doesn't really matter which goes with which, but I did have this one over here. Well, that's my hour for the day, so I've got to get on to other things. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Bye. Have a creative day.